Hi everyone, Ahmed here and welcome to another new video on my channel, and today we are going to talk about books. Now, not just random books, but basically 3 books that I believe will help you become a better UI UX designers, even though in none of the content they talk about design. But believe me, they are not randomly selected. Basically, I handpicked them based on this following criteria. I asked myself, what are the non-design books that I reference every month that I go back and at least read my notes to get better in my game, and that is my communication skills when it comes to design, or basically how I practice my UI design skills, whether it is typography, color, UI elements, etc. And we will go and we will start with these 3 books. But just before we go, guys, please hit the subscribe button below, especially if you like my content and what I talk about. If it resonates with you, it would really help a lot. I would appreciate it. So now let's get started. The first book is named Peak, and it's written by Ericsson. And this is a very good book for me, and I really like this book because what Ericsson does is basically throughout of all of his 25-30 year research in psychology of expertise, he analyzed almost dozens of different professions from chess players to athletes and asked himself, what makes these people world class? Is it talent? Is it practice? And he came with an answer that is called deliberate practice. What this means is a person who is world-class at their craft, yes, they put in the reps, they put in the hours, but the way they do it is different than let's say, an average or above average player. And this book basically lets you take a lot of his ideas into your game and basically improve how you practice. And for example, for me, one of the 3 things I learned from this book is the first one being, I learned that I need a set amount of time every day. So 1 hour every day, usually it's the time you wake up that you perform the best, especially if it's a creative task like design. That is when I put in the work, and that is also what his research also shows. The second key takeaway I took from the book is you have to know what kind of weaknesses you have in your game, let's say for UI design skills, and you have to practice your weaknesses. Practicing your strengths will help you become more efficient, but it will not fill your gaps. So, for example, in UI design right now, for me, I am pretty good at color, I'm pretty good at typography. What I really struggle is iconography. I hate designing icons. And what I started to do little by little in my daily routine, I began to design icons. And I slowly find that I am getting better in my game. And that is also really important. Find a good time every day consistently to practice, hopefully in the morning. Second is how to basically go after your weaknesses and actually so that you can improve your game effectively, not only efficiently. The third thing I took after from this book is you have to get a mentor. It is very hard, especially if you're a beginner or a mid-level journeyman, to improve when you hit a plateau, because there is this thing called unknown unknowns. Because for you to actually find out your weakness and practice them, you have to be aware of your weaknesses, which is actually pretty hard as a beginner. And that is why beginner to journeyman level, getting better at those areas is very difficult. It's very hard. And that's the third one, get a mentor. Whether it is online or it is in person. For me, I actually bought a design course from somebody that I really, really like. And I am also purchasing their basically premium version of the course so that I can have access to them on a Slack channel, so I can ask them questions, I can ask them to review my designs. Now let's move to the second book. Now the second book is Discourses of Epictetus. And you do not need to get this edition, this is the Penguin one, but I really appreciated this book, especially during the pandemic. So design, like other craft careers, take a bit of a longer time and has a bit less certainty to actually turn into a career, like software engineering. And I know within the first year, second year or third year, there is a lot of unknowns, there's a lot of risks, and you worry a lot, and I used to a lot. And this is one of the books that I go back often to actually recenter myself. Whenever I'm in doubt, I open a page and I read a quote, and I find that this book really does this very well. It basically goes over, and the key premise of this is a basic introduction to Stoicism. And what it does is it lets you assess what you can control and what you cannot, and pay attention to only the things you can control. And this was especially helpful to me during the pandemic. I got my first full-time job as a designer in pandemic. I got my exercise routine fixed, but there are also a lot of things that went wrong for me, right? I had to find internships and resign and go find another company to work at, and some of those things are outside of my control, and I bet you have those as well. And this book helps you recenter fast, so you don't focus on those, but you focus on what you can control. You put in the reps, you make your portfolio better, you make your projects better, you read more about your niche, in this case design, and you will get better. Now, the third book. This is the Tinker's Toolkit. Now, this is a very different book that I never saw another YouTuber actually recommend it, but this had been very useful for me at the offer stage. So, Peak, the first book we talked about, Anders Ericsson, is for you to actually learn how to practice your craft, elevate your game. Epictetus' discourses are for you to recenter so you don't get off balance, fall into major depression and quit designing and stall. And this book is basically helps you get really good at problem solving, but it gives you the tools. For example, and I especially use this when I had offers. So for me, when I was looking for my first time UI UX design job, I had 3 offers at hand. I did it in a specific manner where I applied to a lot of companies, roughly 250 companies, and I interviewed with 20 of them almost, and I got 3 offers at the end of the day over a 3-4 month period of time. And when you have 3 offers and you want to make the best choice to find the best company, simple pros and cons list, for example, won't be enough, which is what you usually go to, right? You have a problem, you make a pros or cons list. But this book offers you 14 other approaches. Like, for example, it offers a toolkit called a weighted matrix. What that means is, let's say for the offer, for the job you want, you have 3 offers like me, and you write your 7 criteria. That is location, pay, opportunity of growth, co-workers, and the product, the technology, let's say those 5. A weighted matrix, the way this book teaches you, is helps you assess which of the criteria are more important, because they should not have the same importance. It helps you prioritize, and basically once you put your numbers in, it actually shows you and helps you rank the company you get the offer from, so you make the best guesstimation, your best choice for when it comes to picking the right job for your UI UX design career. And I find that it helps me in other aspects of my job as well. It's a very good book, but like I said, it is especially good for when you are going to interview. And those are the 3 books, guys. And I hope you liked this video. I really like books, and I really enjoyed sharing these 3 books with you. If you like this video, again, please click the button below to subscribe. I would appreciate it a lot. And for now, take care.